our motto. Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't win. Don't give us the ground, don't give us your stink eye. We try our best and we're successful. Come watch our show. It's time to start, enjoy the show.
Welcome in, everyone, to Betting Weekly Live. It is Tuesday, the 2nd of December. You with Steve Wiss and Jack Wright. Lots to discuss on this show. We have got 3 Premier League games. We've got a huge match in La Liga. We've got Coppa Italia. We've got DFB Pokal. We've got English Championship, English League One. What a day on the slate, Jack. Welcome in. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good, yes. Good to see you and welcome in everybody else. Busy, lots going on. It's how it is leading up to Christmas in the UK, isn't it? All the action comes thick and fast. Obviously, we've got it around Europe still at the moment as well. And we love it. So, yeah, all good. All action.
Yeah, it's really busy this period. Midweek Premier League round. They don't happen too often. I've watched the Premier League show from yesterday. If you've not watched that already, guys, give it a good watch before the kickoffs tonight. There's some great angles and some good laughs as well, I must say, from the crew as per normal.
Do you know what, Steve? Obviously, this is the second show now doing a slightly new format, and I think it really works very well because it just seems a lot more fast moving than it has done previously. And we've got the more opportunity to kind of, not say gloss over, but be a lot more brief on certain games where we haven't really got strong opinions. And I think that works well when both me and Nigel can talk quite well about certain games, all games. So I think I thought yesterday's show was really enjoyable to be a part of, and I watched it back, and I thought it was decent. And I tell you what, I mentioned it today on the in my tweet or post, as it's called these days. But we're getting some brilliant angles in. So obviously get over on that YouTube channel and look at some of the comments that are coming in from some of our community now, who are really getting involved in sharing some very good and different angles, different stats, different angles that we picked up on, and putting some really good bets forward as well. So it's not just from us. You can pick up a lot of stuff from the community as well. So I think that's massive.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, the guys have changed their staking plans on the Premier League show now. It made profit over the weekend. I like the creativity. You were able to do some ladder plays, official plays at the weekend. Yeah. Nigel's coming with a double for this round, which I can't remember the last time I saw one. I didn't expect it. I was just surprised.
No, it wasn't on my bingo card. Nigel parlay it up.
Exactly. It was so it's something a bit different. I'll put the link to the show there in chat for those who haven't watched it. I'm sure many of you have already. You might be biding your time, waiting before the kickoff. So do that. Welcome into all. Anyway, Byron, good to see you. Leslie, Ming Chung. We might have time to talk about managers throughout the whole week, really. User with an incredible bunch of letters and numbers. Which games are good for over 0.5 first half goal tonight? Of course, we cashed yesterday with a first half goal in the daily double, and that was it. I'll put it on screen there. The winner from yesterday was Lewis Jones's work, and he cruised it really. Under 3.5 goals, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, and Birmingham were very good value for. They scored, I think, was it 2 first half goals? Were they 2-0 at half time? They certainly got that first.
Yeah, goal. They could have been 3 or 4 up at half time. Yeah, they're fast starters. It's very good. Yeah, cracking pick that.
So, we might be able to talk about first half goals at some point as well. The Rayo Vallecano corners did come in for me nicely yesterday, laddered those up. Bologna, they were a disgrace. I want to get this off my chest now, Jack, before we move in. They were horrendous. You would never have thought that they were the most informed team in Serie A right now. The defending was abysmal. They made Jamie Vardy look like peak Jamie Vardy again. I'm sorry. Look, Vardy's a proven talent down the years, but he's 38 now. They should not have made him look as good as he did. For me, it raises serious question marks about the quality of Serie A. After seeing that last night, And that's the last ever time I bet on a team that plays on a Thursday night. Last time. Never again. Never, ever again. That is it. These Europa teams, it's a no bet, even if I love them a lot. Yeah, that one's off my chest. Bologna, not happy with them at all. Producer Choice says he calls them Rayo via corners. Great little analogy there. But welcome in to one and all. We've got loads of matches. We'll talk about the Premier League soon, but for the sake of our daily double today, and I'll mention some notable winners and losers from yesterday, amongst some other admin stuff. We've got to crack on because my first part of the daily double kicks off in less than an hour. This is in the DFB Pokal, and this is a match. I've got nothing in Hertha Berlin against Kaiserslautern, but Borussia Monchengladbach against St. Pauli. I am backing the home team here on the money line. I think they're a great looking bet, personally. It's a complete clash of form between the two teams. Gladbach are unbeaten in 6 and they won 5 straight games, including a 4-0 win away at St. Pauli on the 1st of November, 1 month ago. They've turned it around. The interim manager here, Eugene Polanski, I thought he was a dead man walking, to be honest. Not that he was the manager, but I thought they'd get rid of him and bring someone in more stable. But to be fair to him, he's turned it around. I don't know how he's managed it, Jack, but funny enough, it was actually a cup game that got him started here on this run with a 3-1 win against Karlsruhe. So another sort of team, Gladbach, who should be focusing on the German Cup now. They've got more than enough quality to be mid-table in Bundesliga. St. Pauli are in a huge mess. They have lost 9 out of 10 games. And the only win in that period was in the cup against Hoffenheim. It was a home fixture. They're going to have to hope that the cup is a welcome distraction again, but I don't see how it can be. They've just lost 3-1 to Bayern away from home at the weekend, but it was a bruising defeat. They held Bayern for 92 minutes. 1-1 draw up to the 92nd minute, and then they lost 3-1. And that, I mean, just playing Bayern anyway and getting beaten bad is going to drain your energy. But the gut-wrenching nature of that defeat means I think they are incredibly vulnerable here. They're the Gladbach are by far the better team. And for me, it's a comfortable home win today for Borussia Mönchengladbach. So moneyline play for me on the it's a minus 141 now, I do believe. I'm just making sure I've got the right odds. Minus 136 now, so we might get a little bit more bang for our buck. So yeah, that's going to be the first half of the double, and more on the DFB Pokal later. But that's the first part of the daily double.
Team news on that, Steve. Is that you're not expecting anything too shocking there, are you?
Well, we know the lineups already.
Yeah.
We should know the lineups already. And it's one of those where I think you almost want a little bit of rotation, actually, from the team you're backing, because that said, they play Friday night, Gladbach. They've had an extra day of rest as well. But it looks a good lineup. Frank Honorat, especially, is in great form. He's starting up front. I mean, there's a few. It's either going to be 4-2-3-1 or 3-5-2, depending on how you look at it. You know, you got Rayner in there. Engelhardt's playing well. Suddenly Gladbach are playing much better, and I don't know. He's one of those where I was wrong about the manager. I thought he would go, but he managed to turn it around, and fair play to him for that one. For me, they're the best bet in the DFB Pokal today. I do like something worryingly in the Leverkusen game later, who are playing Dortmund. I nearly put the Dortmund match in the daily double, but I thought twice about that. Cricket said, no, you cannot touch Dortmund officially in the daily double. So, yeah, that's the first part of the daily double there. Borussia Mönchengladbach on the money line. I'm going to come to the comments soon because I wanted to talk about some of the notable winners and losers yesterday. The big game, of course, on the card was in Turkey, Jack. Fenerbahce Galatasaray. Biggest bet of the day on the sportsbook in the soccer world was a loser. $21,000 on over 2.5 goals in that game. They didn't listen to Lewis Jones, did they?
Did not, no.
On 22 there. And to be fair, it never really looked like going over. Fenerbahce did equalise late. There was a lot of action, nearly 50,000 combined here on Aruka Braga betting live in play. Couple of successes on betting the goals in play on that one.
What a shocking game that was. There was sending off for 2 yellows in about 3 minutes. There was a missed penalty and 2 own goals. It was carnage.
That's just crazy, isn't it?
I'm not going to tell you what I was on.
Notable Monday long odds winners, that, and I always get these from producer Troy. This one is incredible. $50 was placed on any unlisted player to score the first touchdown in Patriots Giants at 40-1. And it won $2,000. I didn't actually see that game, so I don't know who the unlisted player would be.
Oh, that sounds like some inside info.
That's incredible. Like every single day, there's some remarkable stories on these.
It's like one of those best strikers up in Scotland, isn't it? A trialist. He scores loads of goals.
Yeah, absolutely does.
Punt return touchdown. Producer Troy.
Massive congratulations. Someone also put $50 on Poltava moneyline against Dynamo Kiev at 25-1 in the Ukrainian league, and that won over $1,000. So yeah, the bets are out there if you find them. Notable live streams today: Blackburn Rovers, Ipswich in the Championship, Wigan Burton in League One, Barca, Atletico Madrid in La Liga, and also actually in Brazil Serie A. And if the Belgium and Polish Cup are your things, you can get involved there as well.
You're going to need some multi-screens there. That's impossible to pick, isn't it? Well, if you've got the choice between Blackburn, Ipswich, Wigan, Burton, or Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, no, you have to watch all three.
Are you a multi-screen man, Jack? Or are you focusing on one game?
I do tend to look at one, yeah. Yeah, I'm not as good as you as far as multitasking is concerned. So, yeah, all my attention on one. I might have a little flick through, chop and change. And it's quite good for us tonight, isn't it? Because there's a 45-minute gap between the first game starting in England and then the third one starting. So get a large chunk of at least 2 of the games.
It was a punt return, says producer
Yes.
Troy. There you go, unlisted player. I mean, that in itself, I think quite a few of the players that return punts would be listed. So that's even, fair play to. I was thinking there was a freak touchdown for one of the Bucks players, I think, at the weekend. It was Wirfs, one of the offensive linesmen. I'm guessing someone like him would be unlisted. So yeah, I was thinking along that route. But yeah, punt return, that makes a lot of sense. I was at one stage on Sunday. I was watching 6 games at once on my computer screen, and then one on TV as well. It was the final round of the Norwegian Elite Series, so I was watching 6 at once. People wonder how I can do it, but I just down the years I'm used to it. Like often there's always like a breaking play in some games, so you can forget about that game for a bit. Yeah. Occasionally you look up and think, "Wow, I missed a goal there," but. Yeah, anyway, enough of that.
That takes us back to that first, the live stream that we did for the last day of the football season, wasn't it? But Premier League season, a couple of years ago.
Oh, when Channing didn't realise there'd been a goal.
He's too busy into his chocolate eclair. There you go, bless him.
That. Yeah, that was brilliant. Okay, right, we've got to get on to the second part of the Daily Double straight away. Newcastle against Tottenham. You guys covered this match really well on the Premier League show, must say. Interesting thoughts on there. But you've gone for a different pick as part of your Daily Double, Jack. So let's crack on with that part straight away and let us know what it is.
Yeah, we've got this game well covered, haven't we? Both myself and Nigel on the Premier League show. You've got a bet on the newsletter that's come out this week, and now I'm going to put it as part of the Daily Double. All different bets, but mine's on a similar theme to the Premier League show. I'm going for Newcastle to score 2 or more goals in this game, mainly because they're in very good form. They're very strong at home. They've also got a very good record against Tottenham. They won the last 4 meetings here at St James's Park. They've scored at least 2 goals in the last 6 meetings between these two sides at St James's Park in Newcastle. This season, they've won the last 6 at home, scored at least 2 goals in all those victories as well. And a really, really consistent record for scoring goals at home, where they do tend to win their fair share. 14 of their last 19 home league games has seen Newcastle score at least 2 goals. And we know Spurs are all over the place at the moment. They are really, really struggling. Defensively, really, really poor. They've fallen apart, haven't they? Conceded 13 goals in their last 4 across all competitions. At least 2 goals conceded in each of those games as well. They've conceded 2 in 5 of 8 on the road as well across all competitions, including each of the last 3, which was a run that started at St James's Park against Newcastle in the League Cup, where they got beat 2-0. And so I just think the Newcastle form in this, how strong they are, and the fact that they kind of got that win away from home, they want to now follow that up with another home win as well. And I think it's tough for any side to go up to the northeast in a midweek round of fixtures after you've played at the weekend, as Spurs did, and in a tough loss for them as well down south. And they obviously had a busy schedule as well. So, yeah, for me, Newcastle to score 2 or more goals in this one is my part of the daily double.
And there is the official daily double. Borussia Monchengladbach to beat St. Pauli and Newcastle team total over 1.5 goals. It pays a generous plus 196. Like I say, you've got to get on that quickly because the Gladbach match kicks off in 45 minutes time if you're watching on demand later on. And there's nothing wrong with that single on Newcastle team total, which I do believe is at minus 141. I've seen the lineups. A few have commented on the lineups already. Byron says it's a green light special. There has been some changes. The interesting one, of course, on the bench for Gladbach is someone called Tim Kleidenist, who has been an incredible goal scorer in the Bundesliga and Zweite Bundesliga in the last few years. He's not started a game yet. The last 2 fixtures, he's come off the bench in the 89th minute, and they've given him 1 minute on the field on each occasion. He's on the bench now. I think he gets more than 1 minute here today. I think he gets maybe 20 minutes off the bench. I mean, he's pretty much their best player. So they're a team to watch in the next few weeks, I think, Borussia Mönchengladbach. So I do like them today. Loads. Now, what do we think about Newcastle then? Let's see what everyone's saying in chat here. Russ M is saying Newcastle money line and over 1.5, even money. What about the team total up to over 2.5? Says SF9er. Effie's going the team total, and Nick Voltamada anytime scorer. Selfish P7K is going over 9.5 corners in all the matches. I mean, you've got a prop as well in this game, Jack, which you're going to tell us about. Now we've got every single angle covered, you said, in Newcastle Spurs.
Yeah, I forgot about this one actually. So another one, let's go for another one. Obviously you've asked me to do a few player props because we don't normally get too much of a chance to go through those on the Premier League show. So it's something I kind of enjoy doing. And I've gone here for Dan Burton over 1.5 fouls at plus 102 plus money. With Bet Rivers is a huge price. So get on board with that one. I'll just reel off some kind of bullet point style stats for it. 5th for fouls conceded in the Premier League is Dan Burn. 23 fouls conceded in 12 appearances, covering 1,063 minutes. He's got one of the highest foul per game rates at Newcastle. He's looking around about 2.09 fouls committed per match this season, which obviously will cover what we're looking for here. Frequently commits multiple fouls per game. Last game against Everton ended a run of 7 successive league games conceding at least 2 fouls for him. Obviously, with Dan Burn, he has been playing at left back and standing around about 6'7". That's a very unusual scenario. And he's up against more diminutive, quick, tricky, wide players, and obviously draws fouls. But also when the high balls are coming in, he's normally going over the back of people. So I think he's giving away a few cheap ones as well. Now, he has been playing at centre-back. He still commits fouls there. But there is talk that Lewis Hall might be rotated and rested out of the side tonight for him to then return back to left-back and Fabian Schär to come in at centre-back. Regardless of where he's playing, I prefer him at left-back, I'll be honest. But if he's playing centre-back or left-back, he still commits those fouls. So I would take him there. I think, again, you're looking at who he's up against for Spurs. Quick transitional play with them under Thomas Frank. It could well be Kudos out that side. Again, you look at their front four, whoever they're playing in those areas and however fluid they are, that would then lead itself to fouls. So Dan Burn over 1.5 fouls for me is the play at plus 102.
Father Brian says Newcastle have scored first half at home in 5 out of the 6 games. Someone was asking for where do you want a first half goal tonight. Maybe this could be the place for you at St James's Park. The latest odds on Newcastle are Newcastle money line minus 124. They've actually drifted slightly, but
they have.
What we do know is that Spurs have been a massive drifter close to kickoff in nearly every game in the Premier League this season. So if you want to get on Newcastle, then now is definitely the time to get on them, because it's like Newcastle could well go back to minus 140 come kickoff.
I'll be honest, Steve. We had one of the guys on the YouTube channel said about it, and I said they have drifted, and he pretty much asked the question. I said I'd get more on, and I have done. So I've taken another bite at Newcastle at the higher odds than what were yesterday when I put the bet forward. And as you say, the as Nigel's pointed out quite extensively, that is a trend that Spurs normally get faded in the build up to kick-off. So hopefully we'll see the same thing here.
71% of the money is on Newcastle. 60% of the tickets are on Newcastle. I expected more because Spurs are a public fade right now from every outlet you see. Thomas Frank is under huge pressure at Spurs. We mentioned managers. He might be the next manager out of the job at this rate.
I think it's just their away form, Steve, isn't it? In the league, you look on paper, it's pretty decent. It looks strong form. So I think that's what's put people forward with it. And you look at the league table, they're side by side. We've talked about it a lot. The underlying data for Tottenham has been poor throughout the season. They're now regressing back down to where they should be. 15th is where they are in the expected points table. They're 12th at the moment. Newcastle win tonight, they'll go above them, and that slide will continue. They've been conceding so many goals. As you rightly say, he'll be under lots of pressure at the moment, as we know. A heavy defeat tonight, and he's going to be challenging your man for the honour of next to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Reports today saying Daniel Farke needs to win one of his next 2 games, otherwise he's out. But that would suggest he's certainly got until the weekend. Thomas Frank might not have that luxury. My bet for the game, well, I've got a lot of bets for the game, but this is the one I'm giving out, and the one I gave out for the newsletter was over 10.5 corners, and that's at minus 129 now. I am bringing a very mini ladder out here for 11.5 as well, over 11.5 at plus 120, but I'm not going above that. Main reason is actually stats based, but seriously, every time I've watched a Newcastle game recently, Jack, I've looked up and there's a corner going on. Seriously, it's just crazy how their games seem to get corners. Tottenham can be very inconsistent with them. It depends if they actually decide to shoot or not, or when they decide to shoot. But they, when they're actually going for it and caring, they do get quite a lot of corners. So I think we could see, someone's mentioning the goals ladder as well. Duncan, I think it was. He's looking at a goals ladder there. I think it's a sort of match everyone's really interested in betting on. It's as simple as that, really.
It seems to have a lot of angles, doesn't it? Like sometimes you look at a game and you go, maybe a win or the goals, but this one seems to be money line, Asian handicaps. You're looking at corners, you're looking at goals.
Shots.
Should be a lot of action. Yeah, should be a lot of action.
Stay away to 7. Good to see you. The categories on the corners. Yes, she told me to avoid Dortmund on the official double, but agrees on the corners. Okay, well, we will move on now. Reminder of that daily double just before we go there. Gladbach money line and Newcastle team total over 1.5 goals plus 196. Do check out the Premier League show. Nigel's got the first part of his official double in that show, and he's quite strong on this one. Okay, right. This is a match next that I don't really have. Nothing attracts me in this game, Jack. Fulham against Manchester City. I think Fulham are can be one of the more trickier sides to predict. Anyway, they are plus 390 to beat Manchester City here. City minus 155 for this one. Will they do a professional job, get the 3 points that they need to keep up the pressure on Arsenal there at the top of the table? Over 2.5 goals at minus 157. I know you guys mentioned they've got a really good record, City, against Fulham, certainly in terms of scoring goals against them. So I've asked you for another player prop to find a player prop for the game, Jack, and you've gone down the route of the foul route again, is what you like.
Yeah, that's one that stands out. Yeah, it's 18 successive wins for Manchester City. I think Brad put a similar stat up about the goals, scoring 2 or more goals. So scroll back and you'll find that. But I've gone here on Raul Jimenez, over 1.5 fouls at minus 106. Again, bullet point style, another player with a high foul rate per 90 this season. He's committed 20 fouls in 633 minutes of Premier League action. That's 2.8 fouls per 90. Way over what we need here. Obviously, we're needing just 2 fouls from him in this game. Generally speaking, I do like going with these strikers as far as the fouls market is concerned, because they can give away so many cheap fouls and don't get pulled up on it. Combative midfielders where your focus is drawn, defenders where your focus is drawn, can tend to give away one foul and that's it. They're in the book, or two max really. With the strikers, it could be a little shirt pull, it can be a little nudge from a high ball, it can just be something innocuous coming into the box. So that's why I do like to go on these strikers as far as the fouls are concerned. As I said, he's going to be up there on his own and they'll look to play direct, bypass that Man City press and into him. So he's going to be kind of feeding off scraps, look to try and hold the ball up. His ball retention is not the best. He gets dispossessed quite regularly playing in his Fulham side. And so I think he's going to be looking to be the guy that's to try and close that Man City down and stop that ball into that midfield pivot that they've got. And also, I say, he'll be looking to trap back when they are in transition. So we know kind of how Fulham will play this one. When you look at Fulham matches across the Premier League season so far, they do tend to feature a lot of fouls, both committed and drawn. They rank second for fouls conceded in the Premier League, and they are 8th for fouls won. So generally, that's the kind of style of play, that's the kind of style of game that we get. And say Jimenez is one of those up there with like Sasha Lukic is the one that kind of catches the eye. He's even bigger than Jimenez, but the Jimenez price here for just 2 fouls really catches my eye at -106. 13 fouls in his last 6 appearances with 2 or more fouls in his last 5 games. And he conceded 4 in a comparative game when they played Arsenal a few weeks ago. 4 fouls conceded. I think just because of the style of play that Fulham will resort to against one of the better sides in the league.
Yeah, another good angle there. I mean, someone's mentioned that Jimenez committed some bad fouls at the weekend. Lucky not to be sent off. He's always been quite a dirty player, in my opinion. And he's just gained his confidence again after that bad head injury he had. He was never the same for about 2 years after that. But now he's just starting to get stuck in again more. And he's probably feeling, more confident about that. I think it's a tough game myself, but all the money's with Manchester City, as you might expect, 98% of it, and 95% of the tickets, and 91% of the money on the over. Erling Haaland, we've got to talk about him because he's -137 with Bet Rivers to score at any time, and that is going to tempt a lot of people in. Again, I don't think his record against Fulham is amazing. He is on a goal drought for him. He didn't even score against Leeds, which shocked me.
I was waiting for it.
It did shock me, but it just shows you how much he loves us, doesn't it? Born in Leeds, couldn't bring himself to score against Leeds. But is -137? Is that a play or a fade?
He's always a play, isn't he? Really, at any kind of price like that, he's got to be. Dan, obviously, who's in the chat at the moment, has put out and done his stats research to say that anything better than -150 is a play. He's not scored for 3 games now, is it? And Nigel put out some stats on the show yesterday, so you'll catch that when you watch it if you haven't done already, just to go through his kind of record drought, if you want to call it that. It's a slight dry spell, if anything. And you'd say that I think he's got 6 goals against Fulham, actually, Steve. It's either 5 in 6 or he's fairly decent record against Fulham. So they're the sort of side that are quite nice to play against. And I would say that if you're giving me a free bet on it, then I would take it. Yeah, I'd rather be on him to score than betting him not to score.
I mean, no goal in 3 games for him. That's like the Sahara Desert of a drought. For most mere mortals, it's like a walk in the Lake District. Haaland at -137. You can get him at +290 to score 2 goals or more with Bet Rivers. The hat trick's 10-1, and Bet Rivers are actually offering Haaland to score 4 or more goals, which has happened before on multiple occasions, and he's 50-1. To score at least 4 goals against Fulham. Okay, we move on to the Premier League game today. Bournemouth against Everton, and Bournemouth are the favourites. I'm a bit surprised on 2 accounts for this game, Jack. For me, number one, that Bournemouth are plus money to win. I thought they'd be about evens or even slightly minus money. For me, there's 2 rules with Bournemouth, and it's in the goals market: unders at home, overs away. And immediately I was thinking, do you know what? I'm going to get a nice 2.75, even a 3 goal line here. And I'm going to be all over that under, especially after Everton have just got beaten big. What do the books do? Under 2.5 goals is only at -107, and I'm really disappointed here. Really disappointed because I priced this goal line up between 2.25 and 2.5. So according to me, there is still some slight value on the under, but I'm so disappointed. What do you do in this situation when you expected a clearly higher goal line? I could lose my cool here. I mean, I still think if it would be maybe a slight play.
Well, this is what we do, isn't it? Like you put down your tissue prices, you'll be able to look at it, and if you've set the line at say 2.25, then you've got some value there. What would you price under 2.5 goals at that point? Therefore, you're on the right side of it. But ultimately, if you were expecting the books to what price would you bet it at? That you would have that in your head. And you've then got to be strong enough to walk away from it on the basis that you might well, if everything goes the way you expect it to, you'll probably get the right outcome. But sometimes you're going to have to walk away from it because it's not at the right price that you want. And that's what it's all about. It's a long, long game, isn't it? We know it's a marathon. Absolutely. So, it's sometimes tough when you're so strong on something and you've still got a little bit there. What do you do? But
it is tough. It is really tough. You answered. The answer to your question, I would price under 2.5 goals at -130. So there is still a bit of value there. But I just expected more. I mean, Bournemouth, everyone bets on Bournemouth's overs. Like they're a glutton for goals, and even Everton have kind of gone out of that reputation, or maybe not. But I just think they've lost badly there at the weekend. Everton. I know what David Moyes does. He is going to be furious with their defending, and he will set his stall out for a 0-0 draw. And I think Bournemouth struggle against teams. I know they've apparently got a great record against Everton, Bournemouth. And Bournemouth are a really, really popular bet today based on the head-to-head alone. But Everton are the most wagered team in this game on the sportsbook. 55% of the money's with Everton and 59% of the tickets. 74% of the money's on the over. That doesn't surprise me. And again, I asked you to come up with some player props, and you've delivered on 2 accounts for this game,
Double.
Jack. So tell us about the props for this game that you really like.
We've got a couple of here. I'll very, very briefly. So obviously, again, catch out on the Premier League show, but there's just a little bit, I think, a bit of overreaction to Bournemouth's poor form when most of it's away from home. And also, I revisit last season's price, which was Sean Dyche's last game in charge of Everton, and Bournemouth were a lot shorter. So make of that what you will. But there's plenty of statage to get it stuck into on the Premier League show on this particular game, although we've not got an official play. But I'm putting up a couple of player props here. One guy that's been talked about a hell of a lot over the last few weeks, Antoine Semenyo. Most of it is generally about his attacking output. I have gone again into the fouls market here. He's -110 for over 1.5 fouls. Again, a player I love playing on fouls. He is averaging 2.09 fouls per match so far this season. That's the third highest in the entire league. He's given away the third highest amount of fouls in the entire league. Again, people tend to who don't really look at these matches too much, will look and focus on those strong defenders, those midfield like generals, and not about the flair players. But Antoine Semenyo is an aggressive, pacey, quick, athletic player, and how Bournemouth play means that he is in the situation of giving away fouls quite regularly. He's the fouls leader in the Bournemouth side, 27 fouls in 1,080 minutes of action. That's averaging a foul every 40 minutes, which, of course, as I say, easily fits into what we need it to be here. He generally plays 90 minutes every single time he's physically fit and able to do so. They don't really ever take him off. 2 or more fouls in 9 of his 12 league games so far this season. That includes 4 of the last 5. And I just think that the reason that we're looking at this here tonight is that Everton draw so many fouls. We know about Grealish and Dye. You've got the likes of Garner in the middle of the park as well. You've got the wide defenders also. Again, another side that play with a very tall fullback if he's playing tonight in O'Brien. So Everton have drawn 147 fouls this season. That's the 4th highest in the Premier League. And so Iriola's system is one of where the wide forwards high press. They look to close down the centre-backs. They look to close down the full-backs. When they push, they look to then obviously shut off the transition. And that just leads itself to the fact that when they want to try and win the ball high and quickly after they've lost it, they can give away a few fouls. And of course, in that basis as well, the cynical fouls come into play as well, the easy ones for the referee to give. So Antoine Semenyo over 1.5 fouls at -110 for me is my first selection. And then a bit more of a traditional one. The second one, I'm going in the shots market, and I'm going for Marcus Tavernier over 2.5 shots. Quite a high line. It's +175, so we're getting a decent price on this. He's hit this line multiple times now. 3 or more shots. 4 of his last 5 matches, this has landed for him. And what I like is that Everton, if they're going to sit deep in this, Tavernier is the kind of player that will like to have a strike from range. So he won't even need to get through that line, through into the box. He will be prepared to take chances from outside. His career average in the Premier League is 1.8 shots per match, which is a high average across the seasons that he's been playing. And so I think that Bournemouth tend to generate a lot of opportunities, a lot of shots. They're not the most accurate in that respect, so they do tend to have a little bit of a pot shot. And when you look at the fact that we expect them to dominate this match and probably have a lot of attempts against Everton, then this will say, well, who's going to be taking those shots? And Tavernier's up there on it. When you look at the basics of the stats here, Everton have conceded an average of 17.5 shots on the road this season. That's the most of any Premier League side. And yes, you might take into account a couple of times where they've had a red card. Across all venues this season, they're averaging 14. The league average is 12, so they're above what the league average is across all clubs in the Premier League. So they tend to throw up and give up plenty of opportunities for shooting. So Marcus Tavernier, I think, is a big price tonight at +175 for over 2.5 shots, 3 or more shots, and that cashes. They don't have to be on target; they can go anywhere.
Yeah, they can be rosy, can't they? The player shots.
They can.
So good luck with those prop plays there in the Premier League today, Jack. Thanks so much for giving us some extra angles. And like I said, check out the Premier League show if you've not already with Nigel, Jack, Dan. Just looking at some of the comments here. Quite a few comments about the Leeds match tomorrow already. Leeds against Chelsea. Got Nathan on tomorrow. We'll discuss that one. Interesting game, actually, I must say. Leeds will bring the crowd for that one, that's for sure. Stairway to Seven's going over 2 and that on the Tavernier one. I thought he was on about goals then for a minute, and I was thinking, that surely haven't been smashed in that much, have they? Bournemouth do have some suspensions for the game, of course.
I was going to say, Dan's mentioned a player that again is another great one for as far as fouls and well, if you can bet on cards is concerned. Jimenez, he just flies in left, right, and centre. And he's pointed out their poor stats as far as when he started, but he's a little bit of a hothead, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not Raul Jimenez, a different Jimenez.
Yeah. Okay, well, we've got the matches on the card today. And they're in other leagues. I mentioned the Pokal, so I'll go back to it now. The 2 later games are interesting. Leipzig against Magdeburg. Magdeburg, a Bundesliga 2 side, of course. Leipzig are clear favourites here. The handicap's about -1.5, knocking on 2. They should win, Leipzig, but what you got to remember is when a Bundesliga 2 side goes to a place like Red Bull, it's like a cup final for them. So, and there has been quite a few shocks in recent seasons for the German Cup. Been some surprise finalists. So I'm always a bit wary on these instances where maybe RB Leipzig could focus on the league, although they're not in Europe, so maybe the cup's a priority as well. Dortmund against Leverkusen, they just met each other in the Bundesliga at the weekend. And I just think Dortmund are starting to become this over team now again, Jack. I mean, they did have their under matches to start the season domestically, but the goals for me here, and you can get an over 3 Asian goal line at -139 in a cup match. You know, teams will usually go for it more in a cup match. And I really nearly over 2.5 goals was very nearly the other part of the daily double. And I nearly just put it in because it was a later kickoff as well, actually, so people have more time to get on it. But then I thought again that the
good news, if you're watching it on catch up and you've missed the 5 o'clock kickoff or the midday kickoff, then you can get on that one instead. Yeah,
that's true. There should be a lot of goals in it. 2 offensive teams. There's the amount of ability on paper on the field that's there. That's goal scoring worthy. There should be a minimum of 3 goals in it. Over 3 Asians at -139. I think that's a really good single for the match. I mean, this is an early stage for 2 big dogs to meet as well, of course, in the cup. Winner of this could win the whole thing eventually. You know, it's no one's going to win the Bundesliga title off Bayern, are they? So I think the cup is the only other route really to any silverware for these sort of teams. They're not going to win the Champions League either, although Dortmund have threatened on a couple of times in recent campaigns, to be fair.
Yeah.
Father Brian says the Pokal is good for the dogs. It can be, yeah, especially these lower league dogs, I must say. And there is a match with two teams in the Zweite Bundesliga, Hertha Berlin against Kaiserslautern. I'd say that match just doesn't interest me one bit, but I do like Gladbach, kicks off in 20 minutes, and the Dortmund Leverkusen overs. Massive game in La Liga today as well, and this is Barcelona against Atletico Madrid. Barcelona are the favourites at -141. Atletico de Madrid at +325. The ties at +310. A huge goal line of 3.5 for this game. I mean, this has annoyed me as well. I like the goals here. I think Atletico are a little bit different to what they were 2-3 years ago. But a 3.5 line. I wanted a 3 Asian line. Ideally, I would have took bit of minus money on that, but 3.5, Jack. This is one of those where I'm almost tempted just to snap and say, go on, I'll just place a 3.25 line over when I know I'm probably not getting much value. But I can also reveal for this game, there is a pic on the Instagram channel from none other than James Eastham. And this is a good time to introduce our Advent calendar on Betting Weekly because we win channel. This is day 2. Rory Barlow provided. There's going to be a video go up every day on the Instagram channel, only on the Instagram, right? And we're having this down as it's a $10 play each day, and we're going to see how much hopefully profit we can make over the Advent period, all the way up to Christmas Eve. Are we doing the pick on Christmas Eve? It's probably going to be in the African Nations Cup that day. James has got a really interesting angle on this game, actually, which I'd not even considered it. So I'm going to link the Instagram channel today. I linked it yesterday, actually, because I knew that Rory Barlow might be having a pick on the game. And he cashed. He went under 2.5 and Rio double chance. So he cashed with that. Well done to Rory Barlow. Let's hope James can cash today in La Liga. Have you got any thoughts on the game, Jack? It's a huge contest. I'm a bit annoyed by the Asian lines here.
Yeah, I messaged you earlier today, didn't I? Saying it seems very goalsy. It's one of them that you go, oh, that line's 3.5, and it's in after 25 minutes, and you're kicking yourself that you didn't get involved. It could be carnage, to be honest with you. So I think it just could be a fun game of anything and everything to watch. To be fair, if you remember rightly, one of the last times we were on together, Steve, I put out a question to you, a stat, asking you, how many times have Atletico Madrid scored first in La Liga this season? And I think at the time there were 9 games into the season, and it was all 9, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That run is still going. They've scored first in all 14 La Liga games now. An incredible stat.
That is incredible. What's the odds for that tonight here?
They are plus 102 to score first. To score in the first half. They're 102.
To score the first goal, there must be about plus 130.
Yeah, well, it would be, wouldn't it? Around about that, if it's plus 102 to score in the first half. So yeah, you can get away with that there.
You would never think of Atletico Madrid as a fast starter, would you? Like on reputation. No. I think this whole Atletico team now are doing things against what people perceive them as, compared to traditional Simeone. Everything about them's different. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, not at all, mate. I haven't got much to add. I was just going to go through some different options on it. You got both teams to score first half plus 205. If you want to go for a real wild shot, what we call it now, Happy Meal money on it. Atletico Madrid half-time, Barcelona full-time is plus 1,300. So there's just some angles there. It looks like goals. Obviously, Barcelona won every single home league game this season. Atletico Madrid on a great run, aren't they? So obviously, about your superior knowledge in La Liga, I just think it looks like goals, but a good game to watch.
Yeah, I don't bet on Atletico Madrid games that often, weirdly, in La Liga. I tend to bet them more in Champions League because the goal lines in the Champions League are more viable. Again, I think it's reputation based. But 3.5 goal line really annoys me here. That said, I do think it'll go over. Barca to win from behind is plus 500 if you fancy that one. That would be an interesting angle for those who think Barca can come back. They're in the back at the Camp Nou, of course, although it's a restricted attendance. That's going to help them out. Giuseppe says he's laying or fading this Barca defence. And I think Atletico can potentially feast. They have a bad record in this head-to-head, though. Just one win in 9, although that win was here in Barcelona. It's a match that I've seen Atletico Madrid be like a rabbit in startled headlights before. It's like they crumble. They just don't seem to. They freeze. They freeze in this game, and I don't know why that is. I don't know, but I've seen it too many times.
That record, Steve, is 1 win in 19 at Barcelona. Obviously, I wasn't going to say the new camp, but obviously last season it wasn't at the new camp, and they won last season, didn't they? Prior to that, Barcelona undefeated in the last 18. So, winning 13 and drawing 5 of those. So,
are they a title contender still? Do they have to win this match to stay as a title contender? They're 3 points off the top of the table, Barcelona. That'll be a 6-point gap if they lose. If they win, they're level on top. Real Madrid are in the mixer. Villarreal are in the mixer as well, but we all expect them to fade away. It's a big game.
I watched the Real Madrid. The Real Madrid game at the weekend, and they huffed and puffed. And was it Sunday? And they ended up all square. Mbappe missed a big chance at the end, but you can't drop too many points, can you? But I wouldn't rule them out if they don't get 3 points tonight. I think there's a long enough way to go yet. And obviously, when you're looking at both these sides, all these sides will want to be going deep in other competitions as well.
90% of the money is on Barcelona. 88% of the tickets on them as well. 97% of the money is on the over in the over-under market. So that's really telling everything, isn't it? Maybe I'm just being too picky with the 3.5 goal line, Jack, in this instance. But good luck. I'm sure there'll be a lot of betting action on this one. Chippy Chips is right. Flick did look very stressed after the win versus Alaves. Peter Chalkin says, as a Barca fan, I agree this match does scream goals, but he's not surprised if it goes 2-1 Barcelona. And he's hoping that Flick will learn from some of his mistakes. What about La Liga? Atletico to win La Liga at odds of 15-1. Well, this is why I was talking about, Giuseppe. This is why I asked Jack that question, because if you're going to get on them and they win the game, this is the time. They do win a title, one every 10 years in general? 8 years? Is this the year?
They're in great form, and if they can go and spring a surprise, as you rightly say, and you're alluding to there, that 15 will be long gone come the morning.
Yeah, exactly that. Anyway, there's more matches on the slate. We've got English games. We've got Italian game. One Italian game. I like a bet in this one, Jack. Coppa Italia, Juventus, Udinese. It's the goals I like here. And I'm going to take the over 3 Asian goal line at minus 103. Watched quite a bit of Juventus of late, and I think they are going to be a team for goals now. The whole squad is loaded for goals. Spalletti's come in, and he's starting to express themselves. I was impressed with what they did at Bodo Glimt. They beat Cagliari at the weekend. Vlahovic is injured, probably for 2 or 3 months, which means the rest of these guys have got to step up. But that might not be a bad thing. The likes of Openda, Jonathan David, I think these guys are hungry now to deliver. And the lad Yildiz, the Turkish youngster, I am so impressed with Yildiz. The rumour is he won't start today. If I had not heard those rumours, I would have really considered Yildiz to score or assist as part of the daily double as well. Watch out for this Turkish wonder kid. I'm not even sure Juventus are going to be able to keep him. That's how good he is. But I'm expecting goals. It's a cup match again. I think the players in the Juve team, and their squad is loaded, like for depth. Might be as good as Inter's for that in Serie A. I think these players want to prove a point. The winner actually will probably play Inter in the next round. Funny enough, they've done the draw for this already. Udinese, well, they're not a team we hardly ever talk about, to be honest, Jack, because you just don't know what you're going to get with them. But in this instance, I'll be cheering on all the Udinese goals as well. So over 3 Asian goals.
Who are your favourite strikers in that game, Steve? You reeled off there. Certainly in the past, there are players that you've loved a bit of. Lewis Openda and Jonathan David.
David, I still think is a Rolls Royce player. Openda for me has just gone off the boil. His decision making and finishing is not always there. He just needs a bit of confidence. He needs an arm around him. He needs to be loved. Lewis Openda. You can get that out of him. I know
it's Christmas.
But if you can get that out of him, then he's a massive weapon there. There's 2 English games to discuss still on the card. Blackburn, Ipswich, a newsletter pick for you in this one as well, Jack. For those who didn't sign up to the Monday newsletter, you've got a pick in this one. But Ipswich are minus money, favourites away from home. Is it the sort of match where you would be looking to get involved here, Jack? I mean, 86% of the money's on Ipswich, 92% of the tickets. Is this a trap, or is this one of those just snap it up on a midweek, the better squad, the better team wins?
It could be a trap. It's a no bet game, really. If you want my actual total honest answer on the money line there, I think if pushed, it would be Ipswich because of the reasons you then said. There's been a very quick turnaround. It's been a frenetic period of time where their weekend game, then they played on Friday night. Blackburn played Saturday, then they come and play here. And this, of course, is dribbling in narrative because this game was the one that was called off earlier in the season. 80 minutes into the game, Blackburn 1-0 up and Ipswich down to 10 men, haven't had a player sent off. And it was waterlogged. And the referee called it off. And there was talk about whether it was going to be replayed or whether they're going to just play the last 10 or 15 minutes or what. And they've said they're going to play it from the start. And the word is that Ipswich aren't going to give Blackburn a walkover goal just to kind of set the balance back to where it was. And as you can imagine, so there's a bit of needle, there's a bit of feeling in the game as a result of that. So Blackburn have picked this game at this particular time. They had the choice of when to play it because Ipswich have played 2 away games close to each other. This is now a 3rd road trip in the space of 6-7 days. So that's the toughest scheduling they could have found for them to give Blackburn as best advantage as they could. Blackburn's home record, though, is woeful. They've only won 1 game. Ironically, they've only won 1 game at home in the league all season and were winning, say, with 10 minutes to go against Ipswich. But how it pans out, if pushed here and you want to lean from me, I would lean on Ipswich because of their superior squad strength. They can rotate several players in and out of this squad and still have some real good talent. Minus 110, I think, is a fair price on them. So, that's the way I'd go. But it could be a very interesting one given what happened earlier in the season.
Well, I've got a ticket on Blackburn to be relegated in the Championship, and I've had one for the last 5 years. But even I had a lot of sympathy for them. They've got to change the rules for this. They were 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go against 10 men. Now, you cannot replicate that. I've got to be honest. I would, if I'm Ipswich, I would give them a goal. I would give them a goal in the first few minutes. All right, you can't replicate the 10 men, really. But I'd be like, here's your goal. We play again. And I know you can't fully replicate it, and it sounds like they're not going to do it, Bielsa. Bielsa would give them a goal.
Yeah. He did, didn't he?
But I also know how these things work out. Ipswich were really lucky that day to get the replay. And the way these things work out, I bet they probably win it in the end somehow. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
It's tough one to call. As I say, depends if there's extra incentive there for Blackburn to go and say, look, let's go and show it. Or Ipswich are going to go, well, we dodged a bullet there. This will get us back into the promotion race. They won their 3 on the spin on the road prior to that Oxford game when they lost on Friday. So,
Wolf in Jersey. Would cards be an option? Maybe if it gets spicy.
If you can play them. I was alluding to that, but of course we don't have that option in a lot of the states that we're going out to, so we don't really go there. But I would, I alluded to the fact that it might be feisty.
Duncan Evans said they abandoned that match far too early. I mean, this is the state of affairs these days. No one wants to play on these sort of pitches.
It's much the same tonight, isn't it? Up there in the north. It's not.
Is it? No, always. It's Blackburn. Anything west of the Pennines, the rain they get there is incredible, Jack, and Blackburn is no exception. There is that. Just a quick thought on this game, Jack. Wigan Burton in League One. For those who want to have a bet on it, if you had a free $50 play, where would you go for Wigan, but
Unders.
There you go. Under 2.5 goals, -143. That is the League One card. There's loads of other matches on, like I said, on the live streams. Belgian Cup, Polish Cup, probably all sorts of other cups going on as well. Best bet, Peter's asking. For me, well, I'll give you two because the one of them is that Gladbach one that kicks off in 5 minutes. But later on, I mean, for me, the corners over 10.5 corners, Newcastle against Spurs, the same as my newsletter pick that I gave out yesterday. The newsletter, by the way, need to promote it out because we've got the Insider, which will be out on Friday with the usual content there. And the Monday ones have actually had some great profit of late, which is interesting. Monday one's been performing really, really well. But do sign up, totally free for that. And remember to sign up, follow the Instagram account as well for the advent calendar. Because we win. James Easton's got his pick today. Tomorrow, I'm not seeing the road. You might be on it tomorrow, Jack. For your pick.
It's me again. Long time no see. I'll be back.
There you go. So there's things there. So best bet then from you, Mr. Wright.
Do you know what? I'll go away from all those props. I like all those props, obviously. So I've not talked much about other main lines. Obviously, the Premier League's already on the show, so go and check those out where my best bets are, including an official play on Newcastle Tottenham tonight. So I'll just go with goals, mate. I'll go in goals in that La Liga game because I just think it's going to be a goal fest, and I'll go over 4 Asian goal line.
Over 4 Asian goal line. There you go. You get a bit of value on that one, and there's loads of player props from Jack. We can go back in the Premier League matches that he checked out. 4 player props in total. Pat says, "Do I like the ladders? The corner ladder in the Newcastle game?" Yes. 10.5 and 11.5. I'm on Pat for the over, and I wouldn't put people off going above that. This one. The only reason I'm not
very quickly, Steve. Would you? Yeah. Oh, go on. You might have been answering my question. I was going to say, would you go Newcastle corners?
No,
I know you've said both.
I always get burnt. I'm telling you now. Whenever I go individual team total corners, I get burnt. I've learned my lesson on that. You wouldn't believe the amount of random corners the dog can suddenly produce. It's a very strange one, and as bad as Spurs have been. They might just have a random 25-minute period where they just go for it. Hell for leather. So, yeah, great show, Jack. We had so much to discuss today. We are just going to get in before the hour's done, thankfully, because the dojo, I think, will be released in 3 minutes' time.
Nice.
Real pearls of wisdom on that show weekly. They actually had some great takes on the Champions League fate last week. The amount of teams that didn't cover their handicaps in the big leagues was quite significant. But that's a reminder of the Daily Double. You got to be quick to get on it now because the Gladbach match kicks off in 3 minutes' time. But hopefully a lot of you managed to get on earlier. Jack, it was a pleasure, as always.
Loved it.
We'll see you on the Advent Calendar Instagram tomorrow. Yes. I'll see you on Friday as well. In person.
I can't wait. And I'll give you that hug that Lewis Apenda wants. I'll give that to you on Friday. When you win the Formula One because we win.
Well, I have no idea why people think I'm going to win the F1 thing because I'm not. I don't even drive.
There you go. Then perfect.
There you go. Thanks so much, everyone who joined live or on demand. Thanks so much for the graphics from John Izzard today and producer Troy behind the scenes as well. A lot went into this production today. Almost more complicated than the Champions League days because there was bringing so much together. But take care, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow with Nathan Joyce. Looking forward to that one. And from me and Jack, it's goodbye. Remember to gamble responsibly. Take care. We'll see you next time on Betting Weekly Live.